What's up, everybody? One Fun Guy podcast in the studio. TikTok friends and family. It has been a long time. What is going on, guys? It's been a wild new year for me, guys. I did a few things. I've done a few podcasts. I had some things in the works. I am going to share some things with you guys. Let me just share this out real quick. Let me see who's on. I'm just going to do this real quick, guys. Just get some people on here. If they're on, I'm going to get them on real quick, like I always do. Just my regular peeps. I'm just going to share it out, like I always do. If you guys are on and you see this, please share the live, guys. If you like it, it's awesome. I don't even know what the tag is in this, to be honest with you. I'm just sharing it out to a few people real quick before I get started. I do have a few announcements I'm going to make on here and kind of go from there. So if you guys are on, please follow me. I'll follow you back. If you guys see this and you're on and you're here, please share me out, like the video, guys. You don't have to send me money. I'm not asking for any of that. If you do send gifts, awesome, but save it for people who really want to make money on TikTok, guys. I just want to grow my podcast. So if you head over to One Fun Guy podcast on YouTube and subscribe, that would mean more to me than any dollar amount that you could send to me. So with that being said, guys, what I am going to do is, one of the first things I'm going to do, is I did do it, but I restarted my Guns and Watches podcast, or my channel on YouTube, guys. Before I got into podcasting, my channel was called Guns and Watches, and I used to do gun reviews and watch reviews. And so I would get a watch like something like this, and I would show you guys the unboxing of it, right? Show you what I bought, tell you a little bit about it, what my opinions are on it, if you should spend your money on it or not. So Guns and Watches is going to be back up and running again. Nick, what's up, buddy? So YouTube Guns and Watches, guys. If you like guns or watches, check that out. This is something that I got today, and I'm going to unbox it on the channel. So make sure you watch that, Guns and Watches. Another thing too, guys, is that I want to thank Sexy Lady and Concrete Spew for being awesome guests. My February guests are going to be my buddy Nick, who runs Big Nick's Catering, and Francesca Vanders, who is a restaurant entrepreneur and is a successful businesswoman. So we're going to have both of them on my podcast in February. And then March, I'm going to lean towards mental health. I have some guests that are going to talk about some situations in life. I'm going to have a few of my friends back on and chat with me about that. Mental health awareness is very big for me, obviously. So I am going to do that. I'm going to have a few people on. You'll recognize some people that I've had in the past. You'll recognize some of them. So that'll be coming up in March. And then April is going to be kind of a transition month for me, because coming up from April into May, June, and July, I have a bunch of concerts I'm going to. So I'll have you guys with me for those. So you'll see me all over the place, guys. One Fun Guy podcast will be on the road. You'll see me at concerts. You'll see me in the studio. You'll see me out and about in the area once the weather starts breaking, guys. I'll bring you on my fishing journeys. I'll take you with me when I do my road trips, when I try new places for coffee. I'll do some vlogging. I'll do some product reviews, guys. So I will link everything in. I want to talk about the Pod Cult with my friend Kelly. Kelly, guys, as you know, is doing arsenic right now, and he wants to focus on that and make that his career. So the Pod Cult is not over. We're just taking a little hiatus. If you guys haven't supported arsenic, please do that. Kelly is one of my dearest friends. I met him online. We did social media together. He's just a good dude. He loves music. He's got a great following. Follow Arsenic. I will link his stuff in. And then again, follow his wife Haxa, who Kelly plays guitar in the band with her. She's doing some shows in the Chicagoland area and then in the Midwest. She's going to be out in Michigan, I think Iowa I saw, and somewhere else. So if you guys aren't following Haxa, that's Haxa, follow Haxa. I will link that also in this bio. Arsenic. Concrete Spew and Sexy Lady. I'll link up Nick for Big Nick's Catering and Francesca. So I will put all of their links. I will tag them in this video, guys. So I'm just hanging out tonight. I haven't done this in a long time. Thursday nights used to be my hangout with Kelly. I would go live about 7:30 and he would hop on about 8 o'clock and we'd chat for about an hour and then I'd record it. I miss Kelly a lot, guys. You know, when you meet somebody in life and you just kind of connect with them and you have that personal relationship with them and you kind of just fall into each other, that's how me and Kelly were. We just we happened to be on one night. We linked up. We just decided that we were going to be buddies, and we had a lot in common musically. We had a lot in common, you know, with our ambitions and our goals and what we wanted to do, and we just kind of fell into each other, guys, and it was awesome. So I miss Kelly, but the pod cult isn't gone. By any stretch of the imagination. It's just on hiatus. I should probably share this, see if he's on. Maybe he is. Let me see if Kelly is on. I don't know how to find him in this. Give me a second, guys. Sorry for the wobbly screen. You're on my stand, and I'm trying to type this in here to see where he is at, if I can find him. If you guys are on, and you know where Kelly's at, if you're watching him, tag him, please, and tell him that I'm looking for him. He might be live, he might not be. I don't know what he's got going on. I probably should have just did the right thing and texted him and said, hey, I'm going to be on, find me, which I normally try to do. For whatever reason, I don't know why I was being an idiot and I didn't. So I'm going to try and find him on TikTok real quick. I'm going to have to go to search for him, though, because he's not popping up, which is okay. Try and find them, guys. Just give me a second. Sorry if I'm blank or whatever. All right, I think I sent it to him. So now I got Kelly on the record, so that's good. I really want Mistress to be on my podcast. She is awesome. If you guys are on, guys, and you're watching me, please like the video, share the video. Obviously, it's going to go on YouTube when I'm done. I'm just hanging out tonight, guys. It's just an informal hangout. I wanted to show this off because I'm going to do this as a review on my Guns and Watches channel on YouTube, guys. If you are familiar with that channel, it was my channel before I came to One Fun Guy podcast. I had a YouTube channel called Guns and Watches, and a lot of my stuff, obviously during the, I don't want to get political, so I'm going to watch how I say this, but during some of the YouTube reform, a lot of my videos got banned. They were shadow banned because of weapons, right? There's no secret, it's called Guns and Watches. I am a fan of firearms, and I reviewed them, and I didn't think I did anything wrong, but a lot of them got flagged and taken down and just kind of went into the ethos, and I can't get them back. They were all saved on my old iPad, which I don't even think I have anymore. It was one of the OG iPads where it still had the 32-pin charger, so I don't even have one of those anymore. I'd have to get one of those to plug it in and see if it even boots up to where I could even see if those videos are still saved on there. I don't even know if they are. So anyways, but I'm going to do a lot of watch reviews. Actually, I'll show you one my buddy Adam made for me. Back in the day, I did a review on it. It's actually really cool, but it is his version of the, what am I trying to, Panerai. So it was his take on it. So this was kind of his little take on it. I've worn this. Obviously, you can see the band is really kind of worn. I should get a new one. He did the Expedition case back for me. So this is kind of a really cool movement. It's super strong, but it's an old school wind up. So you wind the watch and you'll start to see the rotor spin. So you'll see it start spinning, and then you adjust the time that way. So you're looking at this guy right here. I don't know if I can get up close enough without. But anyways, guys, so that's how the watch goes. So the rotor starts spinning, and then the second hand starts ticking, And that's kind of how it is. So Adam King, guys, if you don't know Adam, he is the owner of JDon watches. He is up there in the UP of Michigan. I met Adam. He's a super cool dude. He's made me a few watches. This Panerai one just happened to be one that he had available, and I bought it. He actually made me a really cool version of this watch. I've had this Seiko forever, and it just had a normal gray face on it, nothing too crazy. I sent it to him and I said, Adam, do me something cool. I'm like, make me a Tiffany blue watch. He's like, I can't do that. He's like, I can't find a dial for that. I'm like, well, try. And so he headhunted, and he found a Tiffany blue dial. So obviously it's a Seiko NH35 movement. There's nothing really special about it, but the cool thing is that it is completely unmarked. So when you look at it, you don't really know what it is. There's no branding on it. Obviously the case is a Seiko movement and a Seiko case, but the branding on it was nothing. It's just a Tiffany blue dial. It's awesome. It's one of my favorite watches. And I wear it when I podcast a lot. So, with that, those were both made by Adam King of JDon Watches. I will link Adam's information with it. Just so you know, guys, a lot of this stuff too, right? You don't have to spend a lot of money to get a quality watch. I've said that before. Do I have some expensive watches? Yes, I have a Breitling, I have a Hamilton, I have a Tissot T, I have a few high-end Citizens. But you don't need to spend thousands upon thousands of dollars to have a good-looking watch. You can do it relatively inexpensive. Both of those watches look very expensive. They were both under 200 bucks. Again, when you get a custom made watch, it's going to be a little bit more pricey because it's the person's labor that goes into that, right? So you kind of have to understand the wealth of information that goes into making a watch, right? It just doesn't come easy. Adam is very good at what he does, and me and him connected, but I like JDon. So Adam hooks me up with some really cool watches. You know, I check his website every once in a while. He'll message me and say, hey, listen, I've had this sitting around, make me an offer. I'll give him something reasonable. We'll work something out. And then he sends it to me. So I don't do it often, guys. Like I'm not buying watches every week or every month, right? It's been a little bit since I've done that. But if you are a watch fan, reach out to me, guys. I do trade watches sometimes. I do barter with them sometimes. I've acquired some nice pieces. I have done trades before. I have done other things. So Pablo, what's up? That's my buddy Paul. Sexy lady, what's up? She was a guest on my podcast. I'm going to tag her and all her stuff, guys. So if you like this video, guys, it means a lot to me. Obviously, if I hit 1,000 likes, I get to the FYP faster. Other than that, guys, I'm just kind of hanging out tonight. Like I said, I'm going to tag my new YouTube channel. Well, I don't want to say new. It's my revived YouTube channel. I keep saying new because it's new to me. But before I became One Fun Guy Podcast and I turned everything over to that, my original handle on YouTube for a long time was Guns and Watches. And I did it like Guns N' Roses. So it's GUNSN apostrophe watches. So Guns and Watches. I've had that channel for quite some time. It was really, 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 I thought I was going to do a lot more with it than I did. I realized that I didn't have that many watches to review. I would go to the watch shows and I'd post on there. Then when I became One Fun Guy Podcast, I kind of turned everything into my podcast. So all my watch reviews podcast, all my range podcast, all my stuff that I did was all for my podcast. But I said, you know what? I'm going to leave the podcast, and I'm going to do the other stuff separate. So next week, I plan on going to a gun store, and I'll take you guys with me. And obviously, I don't know if they're going to let me film the guns, but I'm going to try. And if they do, awesome. If they have that, that'd be sweet. You know, from that point on, we'll go from there. So if that's, you know, something that you guys are interested in, I'll post that and I'll vlog from there. It's you know, I don't know how far they're going to let me go with that. I hope that they let me at least, you know, film a little bit of it anyways, but, I'll go as far as they let me go, guys. I mean, I can't, you know, I don't want to get kicked out of the store, but, Kiss Love Gun. Yeah. Great song. I love Kiss. Obviously you can see, big Kiss fan. Obviously I like hard rock, heavy metal, horror movies, guys. So that's kind of my thing. So obviously you could see with all the horror, wrestling, I'm just kind of, that way to go about it. So other than that, guys, like I said, I'm just kind of hanging out tonight. I do have a few concerts coming up. Sunday, I made the grave mistake of buying concert tickets on Super Bowl. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I got Cyclone 9 tickets Sunday night. I really wanted to watch the Super Bowl, but I don't know what I'm going to do. If I'm going to watch part of the game and go to the concert, if I'm going to the concert and watch the game, if I'm just going to say, well, I've already seen Cyclone 9 a handful of times, maybe I'll just kind of pass that and watch that. I did hit my 1,000. Thank you for that, guys. Yeah, so other than that, I don't know what I'm going to do. What do you guys think? Should I go to the game, watch the game, or should I go to the concert? I'm not really sure what I'm going to do yet. I bought tickets. They weren't that expensive. They were under $30. So what halftime show am I watching? I don't know. That's the thing, right? If I go to the concert, I'll be at the concert. I think it starts at 7. The game usually starts about like 5:30. So it would probably be halftime would be about probably 7:30 or 8. So I don't know if I'm going to watch the game and forego the concert, or if I'm going to just go to the concert and forego the game. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I mean, I guess I could go to the concert and watch the game on my phone. I mean, I have the app. I mean, I guess I could do that. It wouldn't be as eventful, I guess. I don't know. I bought the tickets months ago, guys. I want to say it was probably before Thanksgiving. And so well, let me finish this tangent first before I go into what Paul said. All right, so I bought the tickets pre-Thanksgiving, and I didn't realize February 8th was going to be the Super Bowl. So that was my fault. I bought the tickets. I had them all ready to go. All my buddies, when the Bears made the playoffs, they're like, oh, if they make it to the Super Bowl, we got to watch the game together. We got to go. Yes, 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 yes. And I'm like, well, what day is the game? They're like, oh, the 8th. And I'm like, I got tickets to Cyclone 9, so I don't know what I'm going to do. So now that the Bears aren't in it, I don't really know. I'm not a huge Patriots fan, but anyway, so that's my dilemma with that. So you guys let me know. Should I go game, watch the game, or the concert? Cyclone 9. He's a goth, electric, black metal, heavy metal band. He plays an instrument, but he's got a machine, he's got a laptop. It's kind of industrial, kind of goth, kind of black metal. Really cool. I dig it. It's Cyclone 9 is the name of the band. I've seen them now. This will be my 7th time or 8th time seeing them. So I've seen them enough. I mean, it's not like I enjoy going to their shows. And I love supporting the bands that don't cost a fortune to go see. Cyclone 9 is, Kelly is not. So I just explained earlier, guys, Kelly is focusing on his music. Kelly is focusing on Arsenic. He's playing a lot with his wife, Heather, and Haxa, who was a guest on my podcast. So he is very, very busy, and I love every second of that for him. The pod cult is not over, guys. It's just taking a break. I'm letting him do his thing, focusing on what he wants to do. He's really focusing in on his music and making it big. So if you guys are watching this, follow Arsenic. I will tag him in this video. I will tag Haxa. I will tag Sexy Lady. I will tag Concrete Spew. I will tag my buddy Nick for Big Nick's Catering. I will have everybody that I mentioned tagged in here. I'll tag my YouTube channel, which is Guns and Watches, besides One Fun Guy Podcast. I should have grabbed something to drink, but I didn't. What was I going to say? Oh, tangent, way other topic, guys. I'm a big advocate of the Super Bowl being in San Francisco next year, right? 2027 Super Bowl, San Francisco. I am pulling like every other metalhead on the planet for Metallica to play the Super Bowl. It's their hometown. It's the right time. Metal has been back on the scene since Ozzy and Sabbath and the reunion and the passing and, all of the, even the Grammys had a nod to Ozzy into this. Metal is kind of back in the scene again. I would love nothing more than for Metallica to play the Super Bowl next year in San Francisco in their hometown. It might be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I think they have enough staying power right now where I would argue, as much as I'm not a fan of theirs, entirety, right? I would probably say that I would argue they are the Rolling Stones of our generation. Um, they've been doing it now for a lot of years, 40 years, I think, right? They started in the late 70s, became popular in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, 2020s, right? So, I mean, you look at 1983, 82, 81. So let's just say 1980 to now, that's, 46 years of music. Not all of it has been good. I'll admit that, right? But I mean, what band has the staying power now in metal than Metallica? I don't think there's any other band. I mean, obviously you could argue Judas Priest, you can argue all these other bands that are out there and doing their thing, right? We could all argue that, right? That could all be mentioned, right? Honorable mentions, Iron Maiden, Priest, all these other bands. But at the level that Metallica's been doing it, for the longevity that they've been doing it, I would say, like I said, they're the Rolling Stones of our generation. They just always bring it. They're always on. You know, um, I would think that that would be an incredible halftime show, right? To have Metallica just do their thing for 30 minutes, like the Stones did, like Michael Jackson did, like all the other bands that had really good halftime Super Bowls. Prince was awesome, right? But I think Metallica's due. Give them their shot. Let them, the stage has been set, right? Gojira played the Olympics last year. They opened up the Summer Games. I mean, that was awesome, right? Um, you know, let metal shine, right? Let Metallica have their place in the sun. They're obviously Hall of Famers. They've been doing it consistently for a long time. I don't think there's anybody that's better at what they do than them. I love Pantera. I love Zakk Wylde. Pantera's fantastic. Are they at Metallica level? Maybe they would have been had, the original guys not have, had the situations that they ran into. That can't be said or argued, right? How awesome would it be to have, maybe Metallica with Dave Mustaine come back, right? Mustaine put out his last album. What a way to ride into the sunset, come full circle, right? Play your last show with Metallica at the Super Bowl and then sail into the sunset. Obviously, it's wishful thinking, and do I think it's going to happen? No. The powers that be probably don't want that, but how awesome would it be, right? I think that there should be a big thing for the NFL, that they should push that. They should have Metallica start showing up at the games. I know they've been around the Seahawks a lot, being in Seattle, and they've been around the Bay Area between when Oakland was there with the Raiders and the 49ers, right? That's their kind of, home area, their home turf. So they've been in and around the NFL a lot. I mean, it's football. I don't know. I can't make a stronger argument for Metallica to play the halftime show next year. Are they gonna do it? Probably not. Like I said, I don't think the powers that be would let them. Obviously, they have a target audience that they're going for, and heavy metal's not it. But me personally, I don't think there's a better pick. Like I said, metal's hot right now. A lot of the rap artists and pop artists are going into the metal scene. So it could possibly be, that they could do that one day. I think they definitely have enough staying power to do it. Would I love to see it? Absolutely. Do I think it's going to happen? No. But who knows? Time will tell, right? If they do it, awesome. If they get around to it, fantastic. I would love to see it. It maybe will happen one day. I don't know, depending on our lifetime or what we got going on. I don't know, but I'm hoping that we do get to see it. You know, I get it, right? I mean, we look at rap when it started, right? Back in the 70s, right? You have kind of your funk and soul are your precursors into that, right? Obviously, you can argue there's no rock and roll if you didn't have Mozart and Beethoven, right? If you didn't have the symphonies, if you didn't have Chuck Berry, if you didn't have the blues, if you didn't have, the bluegrass, if you didn't have, so one follows the other, right? When you look at the progression of music all the way back to the 1300s, and all the tribal stuff before that, right? The drums and the beats and things like that, right? Moving into the revolution of music, obviously the symphonies and stuff like that, right? And rap has its own thing, right? I'm not gonna lie. There's a few rap guys I like. Eminem is good. I'm not. He was popular when I was in college. Little John, Mike Jones, like all that Southern rap. I was big into that back in the day. That's what was happening when I was in college, right? Eminem was probably the biggest artist in the world at that point. Dr. Dre put him out on the Chronic 2000, and Eminem blew up from there. Everybody had that album. All those Eminem songs were at every party, right? So I get it, right? If it's not your thing, it's not your thing. I mean, I'm not going to say rap is my ultimate, music that I would listen to, but there's some stuff, right? I mean, I love the Beastie Boys, right? Like the old school stuff. I love Run DMC, right? I love Public Enemy, Coolio, right? Gangster's Paradise. I mean, there were songs that were good that stuck out, right? There were some really bad ones. I mean, I'm a big fan of Wu-Tang. I like the Wu-Tang Clan. My buddy James got me into them. I have the Judgment Night soundtrack with all the rappers on it. KRS-One is awesome, right? If you're an old school rapper, KRS-One is, probably the biggest influence on modern rap. Most people will say him. Busta Rhymes was really good. So there were a lot of rap that I liked. It's just not my genre. If I'm going to get in the car and I'm going to listen to music, most of the time it's going to be hard rock and heavy metal is going to be on my playlist. But do I have rap on there? Sure. I got a whole rap playlist that I have on my phone if I want to listen to it. Sometimes you just get in the mood and you want to just, jam out. Obviously I'm a fan of Rage Against the Machine and Anthrax. They kind of cross thread it. So, yeah, I mean, everything has its time and place, and it's kind of what you feel like, listening to, right? If you're like, sometimes I'm in a country mood, sometimes I'm in a rap mood, sometimes I'm in a rock mood, sometimes I'm in an 80s dance mood, right? Like, I don't know why, but I'll listen to Rick Astley and I'll listen to, all the 80s, pop stuff, right? So it just depends on what you get into, right? The Cars and Dramarama and all those 80s bands, right? Obviously my bread and butter that I grew up on was 80s hair metal. I mean, that's what was my first influence in music. The first cassette I ever bought, right, is yeah, right. So was Slaughter, Stick It To Ya. Kim, what's going on? Slaughter, Stick It To Ya. I had Motley Crue and then Guns N' Roses. Like I said, Guns N' Roses was the first CD I ever bought on my own. And I didn't even have a record player to play it on or a CD player. I got one Christmas. I bought the Guns N' Roses one, and it's been my Appetite for Destruction is probably my favorite album of all time. Obviously, I love Cowboys from Hell and Far Beyond Driven and Vulgar Display of Power from Pantera. I love the Motley Crue stuff, right? From Rolling Stones, no, actually, the Guns N' Roses CD, I bought it at J.C. Penney's in the Brickyard when they had their little music section in the upper right hand section of the store. So it was J.C. Penney's Guns N' Roses, and if I'm not mistaken, I want to say it was either $37.99 or $39.99. And here I am. I think I'm 11 years old. I want to say it was 11 or 12. And the guy wouldn't sell it to me because it was NC-17 on the little thing, because they used to put those parental advisories on the little right hand corners of the CDs. And the guy wouldn't sell it to me. So I had to go ask my mom, can you buy me the Guns N' Roses CD? She's like, why won't they sell it to you? And I was like, I don't know. The guy says I'm not old enough. So my mom bought it for me. And that was my first introduction to it. I have it on vinyl. Obviously, most of my CDs did not make it with me when I moved. I regret not bringing them with, but it was just too much to carry. And so my first vinyl album that I ever bought was Pantera's Far Beyond Driven. It was a website special. Again, bought the album, didn't have a record player. So I had Appetite for Destruction, Far Beyond Driven, and I think I bought like a rare Alice in Chains one. So then I finally got my record player, and now I get to listen to vinyl, and I got a pretty good collection going. Actually, I'm talking to my buddy Jim right now, who's married to one of my friends that I went to college with, Nicolette, and he's got an awesome vinyl collection. He's probably got 1,000 vinyls. So we're going to talk music. He's going to be on the podcast too. We're setting that up. And I got some cool stuff. I just, was listening to this I got the other day, and I'm excited to listen to it. But this was my most recent purchase from Record Store Day, Avatar. So this is going to be the next one. It's not even open yet. So so that's kind of, that, uh, stuff is what I got. So I got a pretty good vinyl collection going now. I'd probably say overall I might have 100. And I said from the get go that I wasn't gonna, I was just gonna have the stuff I like. But I head hunt, right? I bargain hunt. I don't think I spent full price on a vinyl yet. Even the new ones, I find them on eBay, $12, $13. So I buy them when I can. I will say I bought a few at concerts that I've gone to. Obviously, you're going to spend what they want at a concert, but every one that I bought at a concert, I've had signed. So, Cyclone 9, Buckcherry. So every one that I've been at, that I've been to a concert that I bought a vinyl at, I've tried to get the band to sign it, or at least one or two of the members to sign it. Mushroomhead was the same way. Actually, I got them to sign a poster. So I asked them if they could do it. It was hard to get them all to sign the poster, but I was able to do that, but I wasn't able to do the album. So when I go and see Mushroomhead next, that's my goal, is to have them sign the album. I really want to go see the X Faces. They're playing at the Machine Shop in Flint, Michigan. I don't know if I want to take a ride up though, to do that. It's on a Friday, so I'd have to take the day off to do it. But I'll see. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But needless to say, yeah, so that's kind of me rambling on. First CD was Def Leppard. I love Def Leppard, right? It was funny because one of the first introductions to music was my cousin Chris. Him and his buddies were doing a talent show. And my cousin Chris invited me to it. I probably was maybe 9 years old, 8 years old. He was probably 10 or 11. So if he was 11, I was 9. So I was probably 9. I think he was 11. And him and his friends did Def Leppard. So they put the, tape in and played it. And they were kind of, playing the instruments to the stuff. So yeah, Def Leppard was old school. And I'm still a fan of Def Leppard, right? They just went on that stadium tour with Motley and, rocked it, and Poison. And so they can still carry it. Like I said, we're all getting older now, right? Those guys are in their 60s, close to 70, right? So it's a little bit different now, right? All those guys, when you're young and they're in their heyday and you're like, they're rock stars and idols, right? They were my age when I was that age, right? So now that we're all older, we just, respect the life of a rock star, and, let them kind of do their thing. And, a lot of them are retiring and getting to that age where they just can't do it anymore, which is totally respectable, right? I mean, they're doing their thing and they're doing what they can. So, but like I said, with all that being said, right, it's still all about the music and what you like and what you love, right? I still am a Kiss fan. I still listen to the Kiss vinyls, right? They're at the age where they're really not doing it a whole lot anymore, but you gotta respect what they've done. So keep the music alive by listening to it, right? That's kind of the big thing, right? I'm debating if I want to go see In Flames in Milwaukee. It's a school night, so I'm really kind of testing how quickly I can get to Milwaukee from work, because I'd have to leave work, head up there, and then drive all the way home from Milwaukee at probably 10:30 or 11 o'clock at night, which would take me about an hour and 40 minutes to get home. So I probably won't be home until way late. So I'm debating if I want to go see In Flames. I really want to see them, but is it really a smart decision to go on a school night, right? I got to work the next day, and it's a Tuesday night going into a Wednesday, so it's a really bizarre day to take off. So I don't really want to do that, but I probably could just muscle through it and drink a bunch of coffee and energy drinks that day and get through the day and, go to sleep that way. So, but I do have a lot of concerts coming up, right? So I have Blackberry Smoke, I have Cyclone 9, I have Convictions with Wolves at the Gate, I have Victims. So I got a lot of stuff coming up that I can go to. In Flames has always been one of my favorite bands, though, so they haven't toured the U.S. in very long, so I might go and see In Flames and just kind of eat it. If I don't see them in Milwaukee, they're playing Wednesday night in Moline, which is about the same distance, just the other way. So it's whether I go north or I go west to Moline. Well, southwest to Moline. So I don't know what I'm going to do yet. It's going to be one of those things where I just kind of see where I'm at and what's going on and kind of go from there. And then what else do I have coming up? Guns N' Roses. in July, so I bought the tickets. They were way more expensive than I wanted them to be, but I did go to get Guns N' Roses tickets. Actually, I'll show you where I'm at with the In Flames thing. I actually, my card's probably expired now, but um, I went to buy the tickets at so their tour for In Flames is um, they're in South America and then they come to the United States. So it's the Rave May 12th in Milwaukee, and it's May 13th at the Rust Belt in East Moline. So I don't know what I'm gonna do, if I'm gonna go to Moline, or I'm gonna go to Milwaukee. Let's see here real quick. I'm gonna type this in and see Rust Belt, East Moline. Yeah, East Moline's about 2 hours. Milwaukee's about an hour and a half. So I probably saved 30 minutes going to Milwaukee. Um, so the show is, they said it's going to be about a 3-hour show. So it starts at 7. It should end at 10. I'd be home by midnight, maybe, give or take. I'm going to see... Milwaukee is more fun, but I won't do anything in Milwaukee. That's the thing. I would go up there to see the show and come home. It's not like I'm going to spend time in Milwaukee. I'm not going to be able to do anything. It's not going to be, a big issue going to the concert. It's not going to, mean anything. It's just going to Milwaukee, watching the show, and coming back. So it's not like I'd be going to the bars in Milwaukee or hanging out in Milwaukee or whatever. Or doing any of that stuff. So it's just kind of the way that it is with that. So we'll see. I don't know. That's kind of my dilemma now. Do I want to go see In Flames on a school night? The major, obviously the answer is yes, but is it the smart thing to do? Probably not. So I don't know. I have to see. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do yet. What would you guys do? Let me ask that since we're here. Would you go to a concert that's about an hour and a half away on a work night and muster it up and go into work tired the next day? Or would you do the adult thing and not do that? What would you guys do? I mean, Jess, don't get me wrong. I like Milwaukee as well, but it's literally going to be going from work to the Rave, watch the show In Flames, and then come back, go to bed, and wake up for work. I mean, it's not like I'm going to be going to the Safe House or going to any of the cool bars downtown Milwaukee. It's going to be concert, home. So it's going to the Rave, parking, going to see the show, getting in my truck, driving back home. I mean, that's really, unfortunately, it's not like a Friday night where I can spend out there and go. If I really want to go, then go. I really do want to go. That is kind of my thing. I've always been a fan of In Flames, and I've never seen them live. But like I said, the responsible thing is to, yeah. But see, the thing is, it's on a Wednesday. I mean, it's not like it's going to do anything. Do the adult thing because we're not 20 years old anymore, right? Right. So I get it, right? Both ends of the spectrum, right? Yes, you only live once. They might not come around again. It might be a little bit, right? So I get that. At the same time, it's like, I do have responsibilities though, right? Like I do have, things that I have to get done. So I have to be smart about it. Could I do it? Sure. I mean, I've worked on, not recently, but back in the day, I've gotten a few hours of sleep and gone to work and stayed up for, 20 hours, right? I mean, it happens. Could I do it? Sure. It's just going to be tough. It's like anything else, right? No risk, no reward. So that's the only dilemma that I have right now. If I want to do that or not. So, do I want to? Yes. Is it the right thing to do? Meh, maybe. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. What do you guys think? Is it something I should do or something I should look into doing, or should I just cancel it, or what should I do? I know Paul says do the adult thing and be smart and don't do it. Kim says you only live once, do it. What do you guys say? So this is the show that I want to go see in Michigan. It's the original guys in Mushroom Head. But yes, you do only live once. I get it, right? So I understand. I mean, I'm not, uh, I completely understand what you guys are saying. I get it. It's having responsibilities and being, an adult and doing that, stuff. So I get it, right? I'm totally into what you guys are saying. I'm looking up right now to see if so there are still tickets left. They're not that expensive. Or grow parent calling sick. I mean, yeah. I mean, I have plenty of sick time. I could do that. I don't think I need to though. I think that's kind of my big thing, right? Is that like I've done a lot more on a lot less sleep. I mean, if I get home by midnight and I wake up at 6:30 in the morning, it's still sleep. It's not like I didn't get any sleep. It's not like I'm getting home at 3 in the morning and waking up at 6 in the morning, right? So I mean, I could do that, right? Sick time for retirement, buddy. It's coming up. You're living that world now. I got 5 years. So yeah, saving it is yes. That's exactly what I'm doing. I am saving it and I'm being smart about it and I'm being wise about it and I'm calculating all this stuff, right? I'm starting to run my final numbers now. I obviously they're not my total, but the next 4 years, are going to be the highest 4 of my career. So I want to make them count. So yes. So yeah, saving sick time, working overtime, doing as much as I can. Absolutely. That's what I'm doing. There's no secret to that. I already got my, my stuff ready to go. So, that's kind of where I'm at with everything, there. So yes. So I don't know, maybe I will go and just kind of go live from the show you guys a good time. That's kind of my thing now, right? When I go to concerts, I go live from this page and I get a bunch of people that watch it and they all tag me and stuff like that. So it's kind of fun. I do enjoy doing that. I'm not going to lie. It is kind of a cool thing to do. But I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I just will go. I don't know. It's down the road though. It's in May. It's not like it's next week or anything. So I could figure it out. Right. So, but yeah, so other than that, guys, I was just kind of hanging out for a little bit tonight. Like I said, it's been a while since I've been on here. But like I said, I wanted to thank Kelly and Haxa and, Arsenic and Concrete Spew and Sexy Lady and Big Nick and Francesca. They're all going to be guests on my podcast. It's awesome to think that I've been doing this now for 2 years and I still have guests that want to be on and I'm still growing and still learning and still being successful. So it really means the world to me that you guys are still here watching me and supporting me and helping me and, doing all this stuff. It truly does mean the world to me that I can do this and have fun. And 2 years is crazy, right? I started January 24th. I just turned 2, my first live. So January 24th was when I got this thing here. That's when I actually went to, what did I use? Did I use, I don't remember if I used Real Layer or what I used. But anyways, I trademarked it, when I did it. So, I'll tell you what I used right now. I used LegalZoom, is what I used. And I trademarked my podcast. And so that was kind of the creation of it. January 29th was my first time I went live. So that's kind of where I picked my date. So even though I was technically born on, the 24th of January, 29th is when I did my first podcast. So I just go with the 29th as my anniversary date. So yeah, but 24 to 25 and 25 to 26, it's crazy. So it's been awesome though. It's been a great run. I've met some cool people. Paul's been a guest on my podcast. He was one of my early ones, right? That was OG, right? So yeah. That was it, Paul. You were one of the first ones. It was crazy, but and to think that like I didn't have the background, I didn't have the setup, I didn't have the lights, I didn't have that. Definitely OG. You're one of the originals. But yeah, I didn't have the. I still had the old ceiling tiles. I kind of went with the black. Um, I've gotten the background now. I've gotten all the stuff. I've gotten all the cool stuff behind me. I didn't have any of this. It was all bare. So to think in 2 years that I'd grown it into this, and it didn't really cost me a whole lot of money. The sign was gifted to me. These I've had since college. All of the stuff here. The book was gifted to me. The wrestlers were gifted to me. Vampiro and the Young Bucks. Most of the stuff I had, my skull was an old school Halloween thing. Pennywise is pretty new. But yeah, all of the stuff that I had was just stuff that was in tote boxes that I was like, what am I going to do with this stuff? So, obviously the book was given to me. Like I said, a lot of the gifts and stuff that were given to me, I put out to see. But for the most part, all the stuff is just old stuff I had laying around. I'm like, what am I going to do with this stuff? So when I created the podcast, I'm like, well, I'm going to hang it up. So like I said, these were all barren for a little bit. My goal is to still get a TV behind me. I really think that would be cool. Like obviously to put in the background so I can put whatever I want in the background. But for right now, like this is pretty good. Like I like this setup. I'm comfortable. I'm in my basement, guys. It's a little area that I had in the back of my TV room. So it's just a little nook. It's not like a studio, but it fits everything that I need it to. It's perfect for what I need. I'm super happy that I have it and that I was able to, do it, and that was really kind of cool. So yeah, so it's nothing special, right? I got all these little stuff laying around here, the Jack Skellingtons and all the little just quirky stuff that I have here, but it's all meaningful to me, right? I got a picture of my parents here. I got some of my watches. I got some of my books. Obviously, Everyone Dies, Matt signed for me. All the Way of the Ronin that was gifted to me. Some Pantera, all the comic books. Elliot's book, This Friend Is Mine. So I'm really, I filled it with love, right? That's what I did. I made it mine. It's my area. It's my studio. It's my, it's comfortable, right? It's tight, but it works. I got everything that I need. Everything is perfect for me. And so that's kind of what I am. So it's kind of a man cave-ish. Maybe one day I'll turn the lights on and show you guys around just to see what I'm working with. Because, I have space, right? So my hands, if I stand up, I hit the ceiling. But over to the side, I have about probably 1.5 feet and 2 feet on each side of me. So it's not terribly small. I could stretch out. It would be a nice area for like a spare bedroom. It could definitely fit a bed and a dresser. If I wanted to make it, another bedroom, it's got the escape window here. So, I could easily do that, but I just thought it would be a cool spot to do my podcast. So that's kind of what I did. So, for me, that's pretty much it. Right. So, obviously my dream one day is to have my own studio, where I can invite people in it, where I have a nice table and a nice, kind of a ledge behind me and maybe a bar off to the side and some comfy seating and stuff like that. Like, I'm very happy I got this chair. It's very comfortable, so I can sit in it for hours and it doesn't really hurt me or anything like that. But I would love to have like 2 love seats, right? Where you just, sit and interview somebody with that, with, have a drink or two, right? Cup of coffee and, chat for an hour or two and just not worry about looking into a camera because somebody else will film it, so I can actually maintain eye contact and talk about things and do all the kind of, cool stuff. But those are goals, right? That's obviously, it would take money to rent a space, right? To rent an office or a studio. It's money that I don't have. So obviously I'm not going to spend it if I don't have it. But, eventually down the road, I would love to have my own little studio where I could just drive to it, do my podcast and, kind of make it mine and be like kind of a home away from home and stuff like that. So, like I said, those are just goals, right? Down the road, that's what I'd want to do. Is it going to happen, tomorrow? No. But, I kind of like to set myself up for the future and kind of do that. So, and like I said, guys, it's been a while since I've done one of these, right? So, Normally I just do my podcast, but I used to come live on Thursdays, even before I met Kelly. That's how I met him. I would just kind of hang out with everybody and just kind of shoot the shit and be like, hey, what are we going to talk about? What's going on? What's happening in the world? I'd get some people asking me pretty obscure stuff about my feelings on certain things. And as long as it wasn't really religious or political, I'd answer, and it was just kind of a cool thing back in the day to do. And I kind of missed that. So coming on and hanging out with you guys and just talking shop and, just kind of being me, giving you a little glimpse of what's happening and stuff like that is fun. I haven't really done that in a very, very long time. And the cool thing is that's how I met a lot of people on TikTok, was just going live and, they'd introduce themselves to me. I'd introduce myself to them. They tell me what they got going on. They'd be like, oh, I know this person. This would be kind of an interesting person to have on. And they would introduce me to a guest. And that's kind of how I met, everything. And, it was just kind of cool. And, I loved that aspect of being in social media, right? There's a lot of stuff in social media that sucks. I'm not going to lie. It's a rabbit hole of cesspoolness, right? It's quite disgusting, but there are some good relationships that have formed. I've made some really good friends on here, but I do get a lot of bullshit people coming in and talking shit and doing their thing. Do I let it bother me? No. Do I embrace it? Yeah, a little bit, right? They say any press is good press, but it's kind of terrible when people DM you talking shit, right? And then they block you so you can't respond back, right? So they make a comment and they turn their comments off so they can hide behind their keyboards, right? And you want to be a keyboard gangster. I mean, that's one thing, but like, at least be man enough or have the guts enough to, if you're going to say something to somebody, at least let them respond. And that's what I used to do back in the day, right? Before I knew any better, right? Those first couple months of podcasting, if somebody said something wrong with me, I'd call them out, right? I'd be like, this person said this, and this person, I'd be like, you're full, and I'd tell them how I felt. And then I'm like, well, what good is that, right? Nobody wants to hear me get on and badmouth everybody. So I just kind of let it go. And then I just kind of went into the void. And then, but like I said, I met some really cool people on here, right? I've been able to reconnect with some people, retouch with some people, which has been awesome. You guys have all seen my journey from basically when I started and I didn't have anything to where I'm at now. So the growth, right? All the ideas that people have had for me, hey, get lighting, get this, get that, do this, do that. One of the cool things I did is I started with a really it was an okay microphone, nothing crazy, right? But I was able to upgrade to the JBL one, right? So this is what I use now. So this is, it sits right over here. I don't keep it in front of my face. It's not like one of these things where I just kind of talk into it, but I keep it, attached here when I do my podcast. And I also invested in some earplugs, right? So if I'm ever out and about again, I'll throw these in my ear. That way you don't hear the background noise. If I ever decide to do a podcast on the fly again, where I'm not in the studio, here it's awesome because it's nice and quiet. I don't have to worry about noise. I don't have to worry about anything, right? So, but other than that, that's pretty much it. So, well, it's not plugged in right now, Paul. I don't use it for this. This is the wires here. When I do my actual podcast, I plug it in. I don't do it for this because you get distortion and feedback, and it's really kind of not. TikTok for whatever reason doesn't play nice, but StreamYard does. So when I do my podcast via StreamYard, I use my mic and it's always plugged in. And I was very lucky enough this Christmas season to get this guy here. So as I start, moving my way up, I did get a new iPad. So this is going to be kind of my go-to now. I'm using my old one for these lives, but I'm really kind of focusing now on, getting my iPad up and going. I bought it and I'm happy that I did. Actually, I should probably plug it in. Let's see if I got the cord here for it. But yeah, I charged it up and I let it die out. So the battery would end up being full. But yeah, so I'm going to use my new iPad now when it comes to podcasting. This one here will be my travel one. I'll keep it on the road with me. That way, the new one stays in the studio with the pencil. It's got the keyboard that came with it, so I could actually type responses, which was actually a really cool thing because somebody said if I Bluetooth the keyboard to it, I can type the responses back in when I'm not doing it when I'm live, because now I was just kind of hitting the screen and it would be bouncing all over. So somebody said, well, buy a keyboard, Bluetooth it, and then use it when you're doing it, you could type in all the stuff that you want to type in when you're live. And I'm like, awesome. So just little stuff, right? That was a great suggestion. I don't remember who suggested that, but one night it was probably a couple weeks ago. So like I said, Black Friday, I had a bunch of gift cards that I had won from an organization that I'm part of, and I had about $180 to spend. And I waited till this bad boy went on sale. It dropped from $300 to $279. I got a message that it went even lower in my cart, so it was $260. So I bought it at the $260 mark, and I had $195 total to it. So a brand new iPad cost me $70. So I was smart about it, right? I mean, obviously with my own money, nobody gifted it to me or bought it for me, or nobody sent me, $180 to buy it. But I was happy. So it was a great purchase. And I have my laptop, which is awesome. So laptop, iPad, keyboard. So those are the new adventures that I have in 2026. Everything on my desk I've had here, so it's just kind of one of those things where it's pretty awesome. So if and like I said before, I know I'm kind of tangenting now, but if anybody wants to be a guest on my podcast, guys, or somebody who you think might make a good guest, please send them my way. I love chatting with people and meeting new people. Like I said, social media is great for that. It's also bad for all the other stuff that goes with it. I am very fortunate that I have a podcast. I had to put myself public, right? So it was a very, very weird thing to open my life to everybody, and you guys get a glimpse of me. But I've embraced it. I've really loved it. I've loved every second of it. And I've had some really good connections. I met some really cool people, and I've reunited and reconnected with others. So it's been a very, very positive experience for me. And I'm hoping that I keep going, and that, once I retire, I have a game plan set for other things that are happening. So that would definitely be the case. So I'm very, very excited about that, when I do that. So, I'm kind of, interested to see what happens down the road. But for now, I love doing what I'm doing. It's just really fun. I'm having a blast. I get to spend time with you guys. I have cut back a lot. I used to go on TikTok all the time live. I'd be on for hours and hours and hours, but I've kind of set it back now. I've kind of scaled back a little bit. I finally found my comfort zone of how much time I want to put in, of what I want to talk about, who I want to have on as a guest. So I'm very lucky. I've been able to have a successful podcast. It's been growing. It constantly is evolving. So obviously I couldn't have done that without you guys. So first and foremost, thank you for being a part of the One Fun Guy podcast, opening up your lives to me, and bringing me in, and, having me be successful is all contingent on you. Because if nobody watched me and nobody supported me, there wouldn't be a point of doing this. So I'll thank all of you guys again for this. It's been awesome. Like I said, I love every second of this. For those of you that have been on, Paul, let's set up a time and date where we can get together outside of, hanging out and doing wrestling, where we could actually maybe do another podcast together. We could easily set that up. We could talk about, the world of retirement and what happens next. A lot of people are very, very, very nervous about retiring, and they don't have a plan A or a plan B or a plan C when they retire. And I think a lot of people just keep on working and working and working because they don't have their retirement set up. So maybe we'll talk about the importance of doing that, having a plan, and how to actually retire yourself and live comfortably and live within your means, but still be able to do all the stuff you want to do and have the fun you want to have and enjoy life. Because a lot of people, I think, are nervous about retiring. They'll say, oh, one more year, one more year, one more year, one more year, one more year. And the next thing you know, they got a decade on because they're so nervous about what they're going to do next. Where, I think having a plan and being financially sound, and having an outlet, and things that you can do, and places you can go and people you want to meet, I think that, opens up to the possibility of retirement being a fun thing as opposed to a stressful thing of, can I make it? Can I really do it? Do I have to keep working? we're fortunate enough in the field that we worked where we get to retire pretty young. But on the outskirts of that, we also don't live very long afterwards. Statistically shown, we don't have a very long lifespan. So I think the years to ratio is not in our favor, where people that have relaxing jobs and aren't very stressful, they can work a lot longer because they're not in an environment that's conducive to high stress levels. And so they can hang on a little bit longer. And then when they retire, their body hasn't gone through hell because of what they've done, right? And the tortures they put on their body, like we do, right? And I will say this to a lot of the first responders out there that do that, right? Nurses, doctors, cops, firemen, public works people, right? They put their bodies through hell. They work long, hard hours. There's a very limited amount of sleep. There's a lot of overtime. There's a lot of money to be had, and some people don't balance it out. And they put their bodies through this a massive amount of stress for the 20 years or 25 years that they're working, that when they retire, they don't know what to do. They do not have an outlet. And unfortunately, a lot of them will turn to drugs and alcohol. And it's a very slippery slope because, when you're not working and you don't have a friend network, well, what's always open? A bar, right? You could always go and drink with people. So it's a very slippery slope that a lot of people face. And I think that, it needs to be said and needs to be talked about. And, it's one of those things where, I'm not here to preach. All I'm doing is maybe making it a little bit easier for somebody who does work in a high stress environment, and that works, in a high-paced, fast-paced business where they're just not able to sit behind a desk and sip coffee and type, where they're actually doing things and physically working. It's hard on the body, right? Look at, and I just don't want to say that to be that way, but I will throw in all the union workers, right? Guys that are plumbers and laborers and engineers and pipe fitters and stuff like that. They are demanding jobs. It is hard on the body. Digging a hole and pouring concrete is not easy. And these guys do it for 25 or 30 years. So imagine the amount of stress that is on their bodies, right? To try to get the next buck, to put in the overtime, to work harder, to take another job, to work on the side, to do all that stuff. It's not easy. And when you retire and your body physically aches and you say you want to do all this stuff and you can't, it's a hard pill to swallow. So I think maybe talking about that and bringing it into the front and center of a conversation needs to be had. I'm not there yet, right? I don't know what it's like to be retired. I'm still actively working, but I know enough people who retire that, they're living their best life. And if they work, it's because they want to, not because they have to, right? It's just because they might be bored or they might have gotten, to do a bunch of stuff and now they just don't want to sit at home all day. So I understand that aspect as well. But, I do know a lot of people that have extended the amount of time they put on the job because they don't know what they're going to do in retirement. So like I said, they'll say, oh, well, I'll retire in 2027. Oh, I'll retire in 2028. I'll retire in 2029. And then the next thing you know, it's 5, 6, 7, 8 more years that they should have already been gone enjoying their retirement, but they don't know what to do or they don't have a plan. So maybe we'll talk about that. That I think is an interesting topic to be had. I love talking about the mental health stuff, right? Being able to talk to somebody and seeking therapy is definitely a necessity for some. And there should not be that negative stigma that if you need to talk to somebody or you want to, put out what's on your chest and get it off of it, that something's wrong with you if you go and see a psychiatrist or a psychologist, or you want to talk to somebody that's an advocate. There's still a negative stigma that when people, you tell people that, oh, I'm going to go see a therapist, they're like, well, what's wrong with you? That's the first thing that they think of, why would you need to do that? There's something wrong. Maybe they just don't have an outlet. So all I'm saying is we have to talk about being sympathetic, being empathetic, right? There's nothing wrong with talking to somebody or having an outlet. I am very, very blessed that I have this podcast because I'm able to do that. I get a lot of stuff off my chest on here. I get to talk about a lot of cool subjects with a lot of different people. So this is my therapy. So maybe if I didn't have this, I would go see somebody, right? But I'm very lucky that I have this platform that I don't need to do that. This is my therapy, right? This me talking to you guys relieves my stress. I get to talk about what I want. I get to say what I want. I get to show you a little bit into my world and take you, down the stuff that I like doing, right? Like I said earlier on in the show, if you're catching this now, I got this in the mail today, right? I'm going to review this on my channel on YouTube, Guns and Watches, right? So obviously it's not a gun, so you know what it is, right? It's a watch. But it was a very inexpensive one. I bought it on the cheap, but it's a high quality watch. And that's my point, guys, is that you don't have to spend a lot of money to have something look good on you or to make something look better than it is, right? We get into this world where everything is about the dollar and how much you spend and the clothes you wear, right? You guys see me, I'm in a rock t-shirt 99% of the time, right? My two vices that I have are watches. I love watches and I like doing that. And I have a big hat collection. You guys see me wearing a plethora of different hats. I probably have about 100 hats, but I've had them for a while. So I enjoy wearing them, bringing them on the podcast. And when I get a new one, I kind of just fill it in. But most of my wardrobe is rock shirts and heavy metal shirts and concert shirts and hats. I have a couple pairs of shorts. They're nothing special. Shoes, I buy what I like, and that's really it. So my point is that you don't need to spend a lot of money. You can find stuff on the cheap. I remember I was with a friend and I saw all these concert t-shirts on Hot Topic. They were all under $10, so I bought like 50, or I bought 50. I bought 5 of them, right? And I spent $50. Normally a Hot Topic shirt is $44.99, so I was able to get 5 for the price of 1, so I bought them, right? So now when I'm on my podcast, you'll see me wearing the Type O Negative shirts, the Suffocation, the 9 Inch Nails, you don't have to spend a lot of money, right? Just be comfortable in what you're in and wear what you want, and like I said, that's why I started the Guns and Watches channel, right? Would I love to be able to buy a high-end Springfield and spend $2,000 on a gun, or be able to buy a Taran Tactical, custom-made 1911 and spend $5,000 on it? Yeah, I don't have that kind of money laying around. I wish I did, right? But I can show you stuff that is just as good as quality as them, but it might not have the namesake to it, right? So we'll talk weapons for a little bit, right? I love TSOS. For 1911, they make a great gun, right? If you are in the 1911 market, you can spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on a gun, or you can buy a $500 gun that's going to shoot just the same. It's one of those things, right? I love watches. Do I want to buy a Rolex one day? Yes. Would I love to buy a Patek one day? Yes. Would I love to buy an AP? I don't have the money. APs run between 60 and 90 grand. Pateks run between 75 and 130,000. Rolex can range anywhere from 12 grand to 200,000, right? Most people can't buy a house for $200,000. People can buy watches for it, right? I'm not in that, but I'll show you stuff that's cool that might be more appealing to the eye than a Rolex, but is, 1,000th of the cost, right? I bought this. It's a TW Steel. It's a Taiwan made watch. In the Asian market, Japan is probably your upper echelon of watches. Taiwan and China make some decent stuff, right? But this watch, when I show it, will look just as good as a $12,000 watch on my wrist. Obviously, it doesn't have the namesake to it, but I'm looking at it from an aesthetically pleasing timepiece, not the fact that it cost what it did, right? I got this watch sub $100. I bought it on Ashford. I'll go into detail when I unbox it on my channel, but this watch was under $100, brand new. And I'm not saying the quality is good as a Patek or that it was made to the specifications of a Vacheron Constant. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying it looks good. It's aesthetically pleasing to the eye, at least I think so. And I would put it up against any of those watches, for looks. Obviously, they're not made with the same materials. This is a steel watch, right? It's made of stainless steel. It's not made of white gold or platinum. So you can't, it's not like you're comparing, apples to watermelons, right? This is a very good looking watch for the price that I paid. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's as good as a Rolex or it's as good as a a Vacheron or an IWC, but it's not meant to be that way, right? It's not thousands upon thousands of dollars. So all I'm saying is there's stuff that you can buy that's inexpensive, but it does just as good as the other stuff. If I won the lottery, you would know it, right? Because all of these watches that I had, I would gift to everybody, right? That people that want to get into timepieces, and you would see a $30,000 watch on my wrist, right? I don't have it, so I can't. But maybe one day, right? You never know what you'll stumble upon, right? You match the 6 numbers up, and the next thing you know, you got it, right? So I'm not saying I would buy stupid stuff, but like I would treat myself. But I'm saying right now, without having that kind of money on the salary I make, these are nice timepieces. They're not the greatest, but for a fashion watch that's going to do the job, that's an automatic that never needs a battery, that is big enough to see and not hard on the eyes, for less than $100, the TW Steel is a great watch, right? Seiko's great watches. I have a couple of $1,000 watches, right? I wear them pretty regularly, right? I like to show them off. But at the same point, like those were rare timepieces. It's not like every watch I buy is $2,500 or $3,000, right? So a lot of the watches I buy are good value, like these. So you'll see it on my channel. And that's the point I'm trying to make, guys. It's not really about anything else. I just kind of want to show you a little bit into my world, kind of give you a breakdown of what's going on, just kind of being in tune with everything like that. Like I said, it's definitely an outlet for me. So with that being said, guys, I am going to hop off. It was awesome hanging out with you guys, Paul and Kim and everybody else who hopped in. Thank you guys so much for liking the video, sharing the video. It was awesome. I really appreciate it. For those of you that didn't catch me live, this will be on YouTube in a little bit. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Aaron, I know I reached out to you about your health journey. I definitely want to set up a podcast time with you as well. So I want to thank you for being on. I know we talked about doing it. I just like people's stories, guys. If you come across my FYP and I like what you got going on and I like your content and I like what you're doing, I'm gonna follow you and I'm gonna send you a message saying, hey, do you want to be a guest on my podcast? If you respond back saying yes, we'll set up a date and time to do it. If you say no, it's not my thing, then I just move on, right? We follow each other. Hopefully we get to learn a little bit about each other and kind of go from there. But with that being said, guys, I am going to hop off now. I have been on for well over an hour. I was only supposed to do this for a couple minutes. But if you guys like what you see, guys, please follow me. I will definitely follow you back. This video will be on YouTube. I will tag everybody that I mentioned in this video on TikTok. Diane, what's going on? I miss you as well. We were supposed to do something. That's my bad. We will get back in touch and do it. We were talking about going live together and doing all this other stuff. I still haven't forgotten you. It's just been kind of hectic. But with that being said, guys, thank you again for all the love and support. This video will be on YouTube. I will tag everybody that I mentioned in this video. Again, real quick, I want to thank Sexy Lady and Concrete View for being guest on my podcast. I want to welcome Big Nick's Catering and Francesca to my podcast. They're going to be on in February. I will tag all of them. Guys, follow Kelly Arzenik on TikTok and follow Haxa on TikTok. He plays guitar in Haxa, and he's doing his own stuff musically. So again, I will tag Kelly. I will tag Heather and Haxa and all the other foremost that I mentioned. Again, I am One Fun Guy Podcast. Thank you for being part of my world and my universe, guys. And last but not least, please go to my YouTube and subscribe. That would mean the world to me. If you can tell your friends, hey, I got this buddy of mine or a friend of mine that does a podcast, can you subscribe? That would mean the world to me, guys. If I hit 1,000, I could start monetizing it. I think my viewership would go up. My reach would get out. I'm not too far away. I got about 400 more. And then I could do that. So with that being said, guys, I really appreciate all the love and support. Thank you all for being a part of this, and I will see you guys on the next one. I feel like Jerry Springer, right? Take care of yourself and each other, right? Spread a little love into the world, guys. Bring a little joy and happiness to those that you can. We only live, a short amount of time on this earth. Make it your best life. Make every day count and reach for the stars. Dream big. And thank you again for being a part of my podcast. I love you all. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you.